Thank you very much, Amit. Thank you to all the ministers on the panel. Let me have the privilege as the chair of this panel to begin by quickly summarizing and then raising few questions. And then this is the first time we'll have questions open to the audience. So I would like to treat this almost as a working session to create a model which could perhaps trigger the new India that we all aspire to create. The first question I have is that I was personally touched by all the three presentations that we are indeed thinking of mobilizing the base of the pyramid. I heard that from Chief Minister Karan Singh. I heard it when you talked about, Mr. Parrikar, about the jewel in the West. And then, of course, coming from the bottom of the barrel going up, Amit, you talked about it. The question I have, what do you think would be the biggest challenges of connecting capitalism with social requirements? Because as you know, I just want to put a little bit of background. In the West now, the models that we all aspire to be, which is the US, Europe, and Japan, all of them are suffering from tremendous debt crisis. US is right now talking about the cliff. Europe has been suffering from a tremendous sovereign debt crisis. Japan has a debt more than 200% of their GDP. On the other side, China is surplus. Their budgets are positive. Their trade balance is positive. And many in the middle are struggling to find what would be the model. Given that India has experimented over the last 60 years between what we used to call mixed socialism or mixed capitalism towards the free market, how do we strike the new balance? And could India, in the spirit of Vedic philosophy, could India, in the spirit of giving birth to the first integer zero, give birth to the next ism as you guys go through the experimentation of development?
I think we can neither accept the Western capitalism or total socialism as being worked out, whereas merit should decide the reward. It's also responsibility of society to take care of those who fall behind, not because of interest in working or anything similar, but because of disability of any kind, right. Because of intellectual disability, because of physical disability or any other disability, they have to be also supported. But the two need not mix as we sometimes mix it in India. The reward should go to the most person who deserves it on merit. But then those who don't come within the zone of merit cannot be totally neglected and will have to be supported. I think something on this line, because the issue raised by you is too big and cannot be answered in few seconds. I tried to summarize it into these aspects, which we are trying to do it in Goa. Thank you.
Thank you.
एक बड़ा प्रश्न है और देश के और दुनिया की इकोनॉमी में और जो स्टेट लाइक छत्तीसगढ़, जब मैं देश और दुनिया की बात करता हूँ जिसपे हम 45% पॉपुलेशन बीपीएल है, जहाँ पे हमारे पास जो संसाधन है उसका उपयोग हमें दोनों वर्ग के लिए कैसे करना है, और एक जो दुनिया के अंदर और देश में एक जो कंसेप्ट है कि हम हमारे फाइनेंस, हमारे पास रिसोर्सेस हैं, उसका यूज़ हम बेहतर तरीके से पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन के लिए और बीपीएल जो फैमिली है उनके एजुकेशन, उनके हेल्थ, उनके फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए जो काम करें, तो मुझे लगता है एक बैलेंस हमें पूरे देश पे इसको करना है, और ख़ास तौर से उस वर्ग के जो जिन नीडी हैं उनके लिए स्टेट और सेंट्रल बजट में भी हमें ध्यान देना चाहिए.
I would submit to you, Partha, that these terms of capitalism and this and that have become obsolete over time. When United States can bail out banks by $800 million, practically almost $1 trillion, private banks can bail out the automobile sector, absolutely private, with government money, and the share of government expenditure in Germany at one time was 53% of GDP. And in United States it was about 35%. Reagan lowered it a bit, now it's back to about 35% of GDP. I don't know how many of you know that share of government expenditure is that large in the developed world. So these terminologies are rather obsolete in the new world. What our government is interested in doing is creating a new model which we call empowerment of the human entity.
Exactly.
Empower them through education, through enterprise capability, and that is what I see. I have gone through a tectonic shift coming from a business chamber into a constituency with 75,000 voters who do not have drinking water, who do not have a piece of road. You know, last week, that the Honorable Chief Ministers will know, I inaugurated a road of concrete road of 400 meters into a village. 400 meters. A woman came up to me, broke down and said, last monsoon I broke my foot. This monsoon I would have broken my waist. Baba, she's like a son to her, elderly woman. You have changed my life because now I can walk to the door of my little hut without falling down. This is the reality, unfortunately, which we as middle class people or educated people don't have. This is an empowerment economy is what is the world about now. Through human capital, you're aware 40% of US GDP growth now has been assigned to only human capital over 100 years. Empower them in being entrepreneurial. Empower them in every manner. Facilitate. Government's role is essentially that of an empowerment economy, which is what we heard from all three of us, I think, the Chief Minister. So I would say, please give up the cliched words, market failure everywhere. If United States can have a 35% of GDP in the form of government expenditure, 53% at one time in Germany, and they are developing and thriving economies. So look at the 7 alternative market economy models from Japan, where you live, to all the others. I would say, please, let's be innovative. The main challenge is, how do you empower the human entity right from the bottom of the pyramid up the ladder as a facilitating entity of government? So let's rethink the paradigm and not keep on uttering the same paradigm.
I mean, thank you very much. You have really played into my sweet spot, because I feel, and that's why I think these conferences are so important, that we have a tremendous opportunity. That was the spirit of the question, to innovate a new model, the newism, beyond socialism and capitalism, which, by the way, I call Xism. X to be defined, X at the cross currents of multiple thoughts of self-expression. The next question I would like to raise, in the meantime, I hope we have the mics in the audience. I do hope, so that you could raise the questions. As you get ready, just one moment, as you get ready, I'll take another question to Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. You know, I was struck by one of your statements, which was very innovative, I thought. Bicycles for girls, free bicycles for girls. That is something I feel has got a transformational underpinning. And since this Panite is all about transformation, I would like to hear, what is that, what is the thought behind?
जो हमने स्टेट के अंदर और जो हमारे जो चैलेंजेस थे, और ख़ास तौर से 32% ट्रैवल पॉल्यूशन, 12% कॉस्ट, और गर्ल्स जो हमारे एजुकेशन में और ख़ास तौर से मिडिल के बाद जो एक प्रॉब्लम हमने देखा कि एवरेज 65 और 100 का था, जेंडर रेशो जो था मिडिल और हाई स्कूल, हमने उनके लिए एक योजना बनाई जिसमें हमने कहा जो 9th के पास जो पास होंगी उन सभी गर्ल्स साइड को हम बाइसिकल साइकिल देंगे। मुझे इस 4 साल के अंदर जब हमने मिडिल स्कूल के बाद हाई स्कूल में सबको साइकिल देना प्रारंभ किया, इस 4 साल के अंदर जो 65-95 का रेशो था, अब हमारे यहाँ पिछले 4 साल के बाद जब बच्चियों को हमने साइकिल देना शुरू किया, अब ये करीब करीब 95 ये रेशो बराबर हो गया। 30% का ग्रोथ हुआ। जो चाइल्ड जो स्कूल नहीं जाते थे, तो एक बड़ा परिवर्तन हुआ कि उनको एक आत्मविश्वास आया कि उनके पास साइकिल है, 3 किलोमीटर 4 किलोमीटर तक उन्हें जाना है। तो ये फ़र्क आया। और अब एक बार जो 9th-10th में हायर सेकेंडरी और हाई स्कूल में आ जाते हैं, देन फिर आगे उनके पढ़ाई में एक नया रास्ता खुलता है। तो ये चेंज उस समाज के अंदर होता है जहाँ पे लड़कियों को बेहतर तरीके से, उनके लिए फ्री बुक्स हैं, कापी किताब उनके लिए फ्री हैं, फ्री उनको हम स्कॉलरशिप उनकी बेहतर है। तो ये, और एक बात बताऊं कि हिंदुस्तान में जो जेंडर रेशो है, उसमें सबसे बेहतर जेंडर रेशो यदि कहीं है तो नेक्स्ट टू केरला इज छत्तीसगढ़। तो 1000 में 991 का रेशो मेल और फीमेल जेंडर का छत्तीसगढ़ में है। तो ये केरल के बाद छत्तीसगढ़ दूसरा राज्य है जहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि इस रेशो को हम और बेहतर करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
Thank you. Questions?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Very good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a question which is linked to the unique identification number as well as whatever we had discussed just now. Appreciated the importance of the bottom of the pyramid. See, main beneficiaries actually they lie at the bottom of the pyramid. Is it possible for your states to make it mandatory to issue the unique identification numbers to starting with the beggars and then citizens without shelter and then citizens without address to court to first level at the first level? Because what's happening is that those who are having the address proofs and then those who are settled are getting registered in the unique identification number, and then these people are not the real beneficiaries, which is a motto of the unique identification number. Is it possible for you to make it mandatory to take up this issue, means to register beggars at the first level?
Yep, any one of you should take.
Unique identification number is a compulsory instrument in all government beneficiary scheme from 1st April 2013 in Goa. We are already 93% compliant and will complete 97% by 31st December 2012. As far as beggars and homeless are concerned, I'll definitely consider, but I will have to search for them in Goa.
हेलो,
Anyone else?
छत्तीसगढ़ में अभी जो बेसिक तैयारियां हैं वो हो रही है, और 2013 एंड में ये सारे हम क्लियर कर पाएंगे कि स्टेट में जो हमारे पास पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन की जो स्कीम है, पीडीएस स्कीम है, पेटी प्रोक्योरमेंट प्लस जो हम स्टेट के अंदर जो दूसरे आइडेंटिफिकेशन है वो एंड ऑफ 2013 पूरा हो पाएंगे। अभी 5 to 6% ही हमारा हुआ, 5 to 10%. It takes, I think, another 11 months.
I think that's a good question. What we have to remember is that in the devil lies in the details. That's what I've learnt in government. That last mile is what is important. I think we are doing massive e-governance changes, as I've indicated, and one has to look into the model that will be followed, where all of that can be synthesized. I think that's the objective of all our states. And if that's an instrument, that's the most ideal, obviously everybody will adopt it. But at this time, we've already gone ahead with many such processes. I'll give you an example. We have the largest server in the country today in any state. It's a server that's an 11G level, which will for 15 years, we will not need any data, any problems with data analysis. We are not only doing ratio analysis, we are doing regression analysis with huge quantum of data that nobody's ever seen before. So therefore, any instrument that will facilitate this massive process, I'm sure we will all adopt it as we move forward. And this is, of course, one of the major instruments.
Questions? Yeah.
at Pan IIT, we are taking up many initiatives to help the poorest of the poor. The major requirement is of infrastructure. And while many IITians want to do work, the infrastructure becomes a problem. So is it possible to make the infrastructure available and use the IITian brain and manpower to run those infrastructures?
If I can make a direct offer, I gave you the example of the school that somebody can do. You come, what you want, you simply ask. You go to the finance minister's site. You will get my email address. I'm making you an offer. If you want to do philanthropic work, the infrastructure, I assume you're talking about the government infrastructure. You simply go to that, you place, we already have the NRI cell working, you simply place your request as to what is it that you want to do. You will be surprised to know that what you want to do may or may not be possible. I have not advertised the success of this school CSR because I want first a success story. I don't want to get lost in government files and red tape. So there are some tested areas where it is possible to engage with you. A doctor, you want to adopt the village where you came from or any ex-village hospital, near the hospital, you want to give us certain equipment. Right now I'm struggling to set up simply a testing center for which Rotary has given me 55 lakhs of rupees. Now my problem is 40 licenses have to be taken for that. I am undergoing that 40 licenses. Finance Minister, I want to follow the system and see where it goes. So, the diagnostic center. Come forward. Contribute the digitized part of an X-ray machine that costs 7 lakhs of rupees. That's it. So, I would submit, please connect up, and I'm making you an open offer. I'm sure the Chief Ministers will do the same. You go to the email address. We all read our mails. You make an offer, and immediately we'll engage with you for you to be able to do something small but tangible with result and a time frame. I would like to make that offer. Give it a time frame and give it a result orientation and we'll take it up.
Good morning.
हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए मैं आपसे आग्रह करना चाहूँगा कि छत्तीसगढ़ में हमने इसमें जो पॉलिसी बनाई है उस पर नए मेडिकल कॉलेज, सुपर स्पेशलिटी हॉस्पिटल प्लस जो 108 जो हमारे पास हम जो काम कर रहे हैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे भी हमने ये प्लान किया है कि अच्छे हॉस्पिटल बने और उसके लिए लैंड के साथ साथ दूसरी फैसिलिटी जो भी इस सेक्टर में आना चाहता है और स्टेट में हमने 56 लाख फैमिली छत्तीसगढ़ के 56 लाख परिवारों के लिए हमने बीमा किया है और वो सभी परिवार APL, BPL सबको मिला के वो साल में 30,000 तक का बेनिफिट ले सकता है। उसको हम स्मार्ट कार्ड बना के दे रहे हैं और कभी भी कहीं भी बीमार पड़ने पर 30,000 तक का इलाज किसी भी सरकारी और प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल में कर सकता है। इसलिए पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ को हमने कवर किया है मुख्यमंत्री स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा योजना में। अब इसके लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हम बना रहे हैं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हमारा मेडिकल कॉलेज बन रहा है, सुपर स्पेशलिटी हॉस्पिटल, नर्सिंग और दूसरे इंस्टीट्यूट आ रहे हैं। इस पर हम चाहेंगे कि आप जैसे लोग इस पर यदि आना चाहें तो छत्तीसगढ़ की पॉलिसी बहुत बेहतर है और आप हमारे वेबसाइट में जा सकते हैं और इस सेक्टर में छत्तीसगढ़ में बहुत ज़रूरत है और आप कभी भी इसकी जानकारी चाहेंगे तो हम इस पर पूरी जानकारी आपको उपलब्ध करें।
Good morning, Dr. Aman Singh.
One moment.
I have to answer.
Sorry,
Or
sir,
you-
sorry.
Or you assumed me. On the lighter side, I am already doing what he said. I am from IIT, so I am using IIT brain for government support. But on the serious side, we are already working with a team of IIT, my classmates, my friends, to ensure that the two sides get in touch with each other and work out different programs, particularly in education and employment, skill development.
Good morning.
Yes, please.
Good morning, Dr. Raman Singh. Wing Commander Parashar is my name. I am BTech from IIT Delhi and MTech from IIT Kanpur. It was such a pleasure to have learned about so many good things that you are doing in Chhattisgarh, the rising star of the East. Wonderful to have seen your presentation. But to my mind, you haven't dwelt much on the Naxalite problem that your state is facing. We learned that the Salva Jadum scheme has only been partially successful. So maybe we may be keen to know what are your future plans to deal with the Naxalite problem in your state. Thank you.
एक स्टेट के 2000 से लेकर 2010 और मुझे चीफ मिनिस्टर हुए आज 9 साल और 1 दिन हुए तो मैं आपसे कहना चाहूँगा कि नक्सल प्रॉब्लम पे जो हमारा बस्तर का पूरा एरिया है और सरगुजा का एरिया, तो ये प्रॉब्लम मुझे स्टेट के बनने के पहले पिछले 30 साल से स्टेट इफेक्टेड रहा है, बट धीरे धीरे हमने बेहतर काम किया, नए पुलिस फोर्स किया, नए ट्रेनिंग के लिए हमने जंगल वारफेयर कॉलेज बनाया, 30,000 नए पुलिस बल किया, प्लस उस एरिया में इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट के लिए हमने एक स्कीम चाहिए, एजुकेशन और हेल्थ को वहाँ पे प्रमोट किया। आज हम बेहतर पोजीशन में, आपको बताते हुए मुझे खुशी है कि बस्तर जो सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्टेड एरिया है, वहाँ पे हमारा एक स्टील का प्लांट जो मेन हमारा एनएमडीसी के नेशनल मिनरल डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन वहाँ पे 3 मिलियन टन का 10,000 करोड़ से ज़्यादा का स्टील प्लांट ला रहा है और उसमें 2014 में प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट हो जाएगा। तो वहाँ भी इंडस्ट्रियल एक्टिविटी काफ़ी हो रही है, एजुकेशनल हब वहाँ पे हमने बनाया है, प्लस जो वहाँ पे माइनिंग एक्टिविटी हमारी बस्तर में चल रहा है, तो ये पिछले 30 सालों में वहाँ पे आयरन ओर और आयरन ओर के से जुड़े हुए काम हो रहे हैं। कभी वहाँ पे प्लांट आयरन ओर के जो हमारे पास जहाँ से हम निकाल रहे हैं, तो वहाँ कभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई। अब ये प्रॉब्लम धीरे धीरे सलवा जुड़म के बारे में आपने कोट किया, तो सलवा जुड़म का मतलब ये है कि शांति का अभियान, सलवा मीन्स पीस, जुड़म मीन्स मूवमेंट, तो ये पूरा पीस के लिए, शांति के लिए अभियान था। और अब एक पार्ट हमारा छत्तीसगढ़ का सरगुजा 100% पीसफुल हो चुका है, बस्तर के बड़े पार्ट में भी हमारे बेहतर स्थिति में है। मुझे लगता है कि डेवलपमेंट के साथ, एजुकेशन के साथ और हेल्थ की जो स्कीम हम लेके जा रहे हैं, आने वाले 10 साल में हम 100% वहाँ पीस होगा, वहाँ पे शांति होगी और विकास की जो गति है, जो डबल डिजिट में ग्रोथ अभी हमारा चल रहा है, इन सब प्रॉब्लम के साथ हम इस ग्रोथ को मल्टीप्लाई करके दुगना करेंगे, ये सारी स्थिति को बेहतर करने के बाद। तो मुझे लगता है हम धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, अब नई उम्मीद की किरण दिख रही है और लोग खड़े हो रहे हैं, तो ये एक पॉजिटिव साइन है छत्तीसगढ़ के लिए और देश के लिए, क्योंकि हम बिल्कुल सेंटर में हैं उस सारे फोर्सेस के, और हम पूरे बिना किसी डर के, बिना किसी भय के हम इस 9 साल में धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। कल बेहतर होगा, स्टेट और देश में नक्सल समस्या का समाधान होगा।
Good morning, everyone.
I'd just like to
I am
add,
Priya Ranjan.
with the permission of the moderator,
Sir.
the most successful case in the last 1.5 years, according to the central government and the Home Ministry, is that of the left-wing extremism in Bengal. 3 districts of Bengal, the year before we came to power, there were 143 killings. That went down to 12 after the first 8 months of our being in power. This year, God willing, not a single person has been killed by the Maoist movement. I'm talking about civilians and common people. Now, how did we do it? How did Mamata Banerjee do it? She went 9 times to those 3 districts in the last about a year. It's a dual strategy. Strategy 1 is intelligence-based police action, which doesn't have collateral